Hey guys, so today I kind of wanted to look at every downscaled set, and I'll give you the definition of that in a moment. But just like this year, we've kind of had the TIE Fighter, the X-Wing, and now the Imperial Shuttle, which have been in the smaller scale using less pieces than the previous ones, and I kind of just wanted to look at what previous sets have done this as well, and how it's not really a new thing, and not something to really be worried about. So for the definition of that, of what I'll be using in this video, I will get to that now. And the definition I'm using is a set being smaller than the previous version of the set in the scale, using less pieces, a smaller build, and a lower price. So by that kind of scale, I don't mean like 1 to 32 or 1 to 48 for instance. I just mean either system scale, UCS, microfighter, battle pack, has to be in the same kind of scale. Like, we're not going to be comparing, because obviously a system scale set will be smaller than a UCS one, and a microfighter will be smaller than a system scale set. So we're not kind of doing those things. We're doing I think all of these on here are system scale ones. So it's just the last system scale model to the newest system scale model, or the one after it. So that's kind of the rule we'll be going with here, and if the rule is slightly broken for something, I will say, and there won't be much of that on the list. I think there's just one set really that I'll get to soon, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The first set where it was kind of obvious was the 2014 MTT, where the set was a lot smaller than the previous 2007 one, which was a whopper of a set. So this kind of disappointed a lot of people, but I still think it's a good set. Obviously just not as good as the previous one. Same set for the next one, the Clone Turbo Tank from 2016. This one was also a lot smaller than the previous version from 2010, and I mean, it's not bad, it's just the same thing. Kind of disappointing to a lot of people, and just a lot worse in some places. Like, the details kind of there, but it's just a lot smaller, and I don't know, if people don't usually like sets smaller, they like them a lot bigger and more detailed. Next one doesn't really fit the rules established, but this is the 2018 Sandcrawler, which got a lot of hate for being a lot smaller than the previous one, which was a UCS one, apart from the 2005 one, which was a system scale set, so I guess it does fit here. But it's basically just a mini model of the UCS one, and I'm not going to do any other ones like the Slave one or anything in this thing, so just the Sandcrawler, because it kind of, a lot of people didn't like it for that, and I do own the set and it is very good, so I don't think it really matters, and I still think it's a really good set, and I think nowadays a lot of people definitely agree with me. And so the next one also released that same year in 2018, being the 2018 Mos Eisley Cantina set, which was just a lot smaller than the 2014 one, and this doesn't really count because the builds are quite different. Like, it's just a few things from that set really, and it's missing a lot of big things from the 2014 one, so I don't know if that really counts, but it's still here anyways, and it does kind of count as a downscaled set. And another set that didn't really cross my mind until I happened to glance over at my LEGO display shelf and saw it, the Republic Fighter Tank from 2016, which is significantly downscaled from the 2008 one by about half, so that's definitely noteworthy on this list. Next up is the other one, the AT, the Armoured Assault Tank from the Separatist side. I'm kind of using the 2021 because that's kind of the most recent one, but the 2015 one works as well, as it was in the same scale. But compared to the 2009 one, which was the last blue one, it is downscaled by a lot, and I think a lot of people hate on the set because of it, but it's definitely still a pretty good set, including, mostly including because of the minifigures. So now to get on to the 2021 ones, where people definitely count as the real downscaled sets. Now, first up is the X-Wing, which isn't much smaller than the previous 2018 one, but it does use about half the pieces, so it's definitely noteworthy on this list. And yeah, it still captures most of the detail, which is quite good. Next up is the more downscaled one though, the TIE Fighter, which wings are significantly smaller as well as the cockpit, but arguably it still looks fine and more accurate. The other TIE fighters were just getting too big and too expensive, but this one is definitely a lot better. And a newer one, which at the time of filming the video was just revealed a few days ago, the Imperial Shuttle. Just scale wise isn't really downscaled, but it does use a lot less pieces, as well as the wings and cockpit kind of being a bit smaller. So yeah, I think this definitely works on this list. The wings are a bit too short on this one if you're asking for my opinion, because I haven't really done a video on it. But yeah, the wings are just a bit too short, I think. But then compared to some other source material, it's okay when you look at it that way. And finally is one that is noteworthy because it hasn't really been revealed yet though, but this is probably the best example of the downscaling, so we'll see when this set actually gets revealed, but it is set to be coming out in August of 2021. So yeah, this will be the Slave one, and it's kind of the only real downscaled set that we know so far from the August wave, so yeah, definitely worth noting there. And that will probably be like the Betrayal at Cloud City one, which definitely proves the downscale a lot more and kind of shows the best example of it so far. But yeah, other than sets in the future of it, I think LEGO will always really do downscaling on a few sets. They've always kind of done it. These are just more recent examples and kind of easier ones to find. But yeah, they have done it for a while, and I expect they'll be doing it in the future. And yeah, sure, they did it quite a lot in 2021, but overall that's like 4 sets, so I think it's okay in my opinion. Like, it's not horrible, and it's a great cheaper way to get LEGO sets, and sure, maybe they'll be slightly less detailed, but if you look at the X-Wing and the Imperial Shuttle, they are about the same level of detail as with the TIE Fighter, so I definitely think that they're all fine, and I mean, that's just my opinion. But we'll see where this road kind of leads to. However, that will be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. That'll be all, folks. Goodbye.